Even if it doesn't manifest and you're working with your beliefs, it's a wonderful jumping off point for self-discovery, because the manifestation of that what you're seeking has importance. But even as you are alluding to, the deeper importance, if you will, is that you are entering into a process of self-discovery. So you want to become your own healer and know that you have the freedom, power, choice, and will to find for yourself your own connection to the truth of life. All the traditions of the world have as a common thread that runs through them the seeking after truth. The slight difference in the Western tradition is that, yes, there's a quest for truth as it exists in all the traditions, but the primary focus at first is to clear away the obstacles that don't permit you to allow the truth to reveal itself to you. It's waiting. It's there waiting for you. As Rumi said, you are the truth from foot to brow. Now, what else do you need to know? Well, yes, what you need to know is to know that. And I want to know that by these processes that I am now learning that take me to that revelation, that makes itself revealed to me through clearing away the obstacles that I have put in my path. The circumstances have not put the obstacles in my path. I have put the obstacles in my path. I seek to blame the outside world because I've been taught to blame the outside world, so I don't have to look at myself and I don't have to discover anything. I let myself be, in a sense then, quote, which doesn't exist for us, victimized by the world. Doesn't exist. So we're not victimized. We are simply moving along the path of death, because the death orientation is one that wants to seek you to engage in illusion, mirage, fabrication, false beliefs, mistakes, and so on, to lead you down injurious paths so that your energy, your life force is zapped, your life energy is dissipated, you lose your strength, you decay, you age, and we'll learn about that in the disemergency state a little later, and you begin to fall apart because your body ages and you become decayed, and there's no other outcome left for you than to cease movement. And when we cease movement, we die. So we are embarking on a process of self-discovery, and these are then what's made available for self-discovery instantaneously. Don't have to read many books about it. You don't have to school yourself in great esoteric thought. They're all interesting. We do teach it. There's a great deal of value in the esoteric work, in the work of spiritual practices, in the work of books that talk about the principles of spiritual life, the beliefs, the doctrines of spiritual life, and they're all valuable because they help to turn us toward a new direction in life, one in which we make our relationship of significance to that invisible world, that we understand that it exists, that it's here for us, it's here to help us, it's here to inform us, it's here to sustain us, it's here to offer us sustenance, nutrients, and to keep us in life. That world keeps us in life. We attune to that world, we live. And it's interesting, if you ask yourself, right at this point, this may be a funny point to ask because we've been going through this process for a couple of hours now, but the question is, would I really want to live forever in a physical, because the Greeks talked about it as soul and spirit, not the body. So the implication is there's life after death, and that we go, and that there's another pan-dimensional reality that we enter after we cease our existence here, which I believe to be the case, and which I trust is the case, which I've had a certain experience that has shown me that it's the case. But you ask the question, would I like to live, not just soul and spirit, but in body? Would I like to be continuing my physical presence on the earth, albeit maybe that it could be in a resurrective body, a light body, a new physiology, a new biology? Would I want to be here? And you want to ask yourself that question because, as we're going to get to later on in this program, yes or no? No stories. Yes or no? Do I want to be here? Do I want to continue here? If your answer is no, be honest and frank. Your answer is no, you want to die. And that's okay. It's legitimate, it's authentic, it's valuable, and it's meaningful. You want to die, that's genuine and meaningful. It's understandable why people are always dying, because the pain of life is so great, and in many ways it's so great. The circumstances that impose themselves that we've created that come back and haunt us, the relationships that go awry that cause us pain, the loss of people who are loved ones around us, who disappear, who die. I mean, there's so many different ways of feeling and experiencing the pain that comes in life that is always in our face. Why do I want to continue? Even you get a physical malady or emotional difficulty that stays with you. You're depressed. You're constantly anxious, and so on. So why do I want to keep living in such a state of being? I have had enough. I want to be out of it. And death offers itself as the way out. That's what's alluring about it. Even in the East, they talk about healing into death. There are books written on the glory of healing into death. For us, it's not a glory and it's not a healing. It's an authentic choice that you make to die. And if you want to die, this is fine. And in the sense is that there is something more awaiting you. And I think that that's comforting because it's not just fantasy. It's not fantasy for that to be the case. The physical body ceases is not the end of it. But why not continue on to live in this unified existence of body, soul, and spirit with the great invisible reality and the great, what we call the great exchange being. The great exchange being who oversees it all. Why not? And therefore, why not restore ourselves to the Edenic existence that we came from? Because the original existence was one of eternal bliss, no death, no unhappiness, no disease. I shouldn't use the word is a difficult one because in truth there is no such thing, as we'll talk about later. There's no such thing as disease. But where there's no pain and suffering, why not live in a continuous state that goes on and on and on of no pain, no suffering, no problems, no judgments, no undue distresses, no excesses, being able to deal with the influences that come from inside and outside without falling into a state of panic or distress. Why not? You're forgetting death because if you change forgetting to remembering, you reverse it, you're changing, there's no more sleeping and no more death. Once forgetting stops, you're opening the door to removing sleeping and death from consciousness. And what it means then, that there is coming an end of days, and at the end of days is the coming of the new life and a new consciousness in our existence. One of the meanings of that is there's no more consciousness of death because there's no more consciousness of time. So there's no more of being concerned with the movement of time, which is future and past. You're no longer taken in by that. And we're no longer subject to the conditioning of future and past. So we forget, paradoxically, forget death. So when you wake up in the morning, you say, I'm here. Or when you wake up in the morning, you say, remember. And that's a very nice thing to do as soon as you open your eyes in the morning.